And the race is on. King Plutus from the outside and Bohemian Style. Those two are quickest as they run to that first turn. It's going to be King Plutus just in front of Bohemian Styles down to that one's inside. Prince Lancelot moving out 3 deep, 4 wide here for Great Hunt as they run into that first turn. Gap to gap is tucked in behind runners and $10 a glass. Tapping on the brakes there was Prince Lancelot. They're pretty well clustered on the front end. It's about 5 more back to King of Cairo, who's the early trailer. Bohemian Style, the big favorite, just ahead in front of King Plutus on the outside. They race onto the back stretch after a 24-3 opening quarter mile. They're a length and a half, 2 in front of Gap to Gap, who's back in third. Then comes $10 a glass, fourth in the orange colors. Out wide is Great Hunt in fifth. Break of 4 more back to Prince Lancelot. Another 6 back to King of Cairo, who's already about 15 lengths behind with a half mile left to go. Bohemian Style at 2-5 leads him by that half mile pole, pressed by King Plutus for much of this journey. 48-4 was the opening half-mile time. Bohemian Style to the far turn. King Plutus right up alongside. They're a length and a half clear. Gap to Gap, who's pushed along to go after them from third. Another length and a half. Back to $10 a glass. Coming through on the inside, Prince Lancelot is back into the bit, trying to rally up as Bohemian Style still the leader. Bohemian Style, here's Gap to Gap up on the outside. Making up ground to the inside, $10 a glass. King Plutus is now back to fourth. Then comes Prince Lancelot. Bohemian Style into the stretch. Gap to Gap right up alongside. Bohemian Style really hasn't had a breather here, but does have a length and a half advantage. Gap to Gap up in second. 3 more back to $10 a glass. A final 16th to go. Now Bohemian Style starting to edge clear. The lead's out to 2.5. Gap to Gap is second, long way back to $10 a glass in third. But Bohemian Style going to do it at a short price here. Won it by 2.5 in the end. Gap to Gap was second. $10 a glass third. Fourth went to Prince Lancelot. Exact to $290, the trifecta $510, dime super $276, daily double $1240. Pick 3, $26.50, the high five $77. Race 5 is coming up next in 31 minutes at 2:50 p.m. We're on the turf course at a mile. It will be out of the homestretch starting point. Do take note of that. Scratch 6 and 14. Scratch 6 and 14 out of today's 5th race. Number 9.